Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for
Ryan Stone.
What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips. Fuck you!
And Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall.
79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
But I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
Boom, what's up fam? Got some big news to share that unfortunately is not so good, so I'm gonna jump right into it. You're gonna watch this video and you're gonna cry. At least we can laugh at your eyes as you cry like in the corner like a little girl in the fetal position.
We know that these videos really prey on vulnerable young men who have not had many experiences in dating.
I always got to wondering on that one when she's talking about, if you don't remember, that's Emily did something feminist thing. I don't remember. Talking about Rich Cooper's video about what would you do in the zombie apocalypse opener. When she put out that line, I was just wondering, how much experience do you have dating? Because all of a sudden she started dressing like a goth and had a new boyfriend. Anyways, it's a weird like little piece of iceberg lore. Didn't even think about it. Welcome to Red Morning. Merry Christmas, everybody. In the CN Tower, we got the Diwali, or no, it's not Diwali, Kwanzaa. They're putting Kwanzaa colors up today. They said they put it up, the Christmas colors for Christmas, but I don't remember seeing them. So yeah, it's good. We're good. We're going to celebrate all the ethnic holidays except for that Anglo-Saxon one, but whatever. I do the thing. I always have like two social media things I do every year, and I hope you got to enjoy them. The first one is I put like a little, like whatever we're cooking, and I kind of put up some photos of that one, get in that direction. And then the other one is I tell people like, I just just one day, man, just stop for one day. Nobody actually, this is the first year somebody actually did. This guy called woman disrespecter, I think is what's called on Twitter. I think his name is John. I don't know. But I'm like, can't this wait till tomorrow? And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I can wait till tomorrow. And I was like, man, that was truly the gift that keeps giving for Christmas. More appropriate to put up the Indian colors. Well, Diwali was, I don't know, a little while back, so we laid out the red carpet for that. But it was good. It was quiet. The family, I went to go see family for the American Thanksgiving, which for us is just Survivor Series. And it was good. It was like the Home Alone house. It's huge. So we were just burnt out. This one was quiet. I hope you guys had a good one and a quiet one, because I see on the internet that everybody seems to love, like, oh, you know what we should do? We should go home and bitch about politics to each other. And by bitch about politics to each other, they mean they want their gay son or their like college educated spinster chick to call everybody a racist or something like that, which is weird because that never used to be it. The holidays used to be that time where the big concern was the racist drunk uncle. But it seems like he's no longer a thing. There's no more racist drunk uncles. It's always like the pretentious Lisa Simpson on SSRIs going in and lecturing the family and having dad tell her to piss off. But yeah, it's good. Let's see what we got here. The X2D Andrew Wilson Pickle Jar. Nice quiet Christmas with the old lady. Dude, how could you not enjoy that? You know what I mean? It's kind of got the vibes of like, what are we doing here? You know the one? It's a little saying we got now where people are just, where things are just completely off the rails. You're like, what are we doing here? What are we even doing here? And the holiday one, everybody's bitching and angry and bitching and angry. It's like, we want to go back to the nice, happy family. I was like, all right, for this one day, you're probably going to get it. All you got to do is reach for it. It's right there. And nobody ever does. At least nobody online. But this is why you can always tell who spends all of their time online versus people who have a social calendar offline, is that they have a more tempered approach to this. And now everybody is the drunk, edgy, racist uncle. Kind of removes the joy of it, you know? The whole thing, when I was a kid growing up, I'm like, man, I could be that racist drunk uncle one day who smells like cigarette smoke. And now that everybody's doing it, you're just like, It's lost its luster. It's like when Canada legalized weed. I don't know if you guys know this one, but I'm not a weed smoker. Not really. At all. I don't know. My stepdad was big into that shit, and I was like, I decided to be straight edge, teach him a lesson, and then I found the joys of alcohol, and I'm like, well, maybe not fully straight edged. But when I got out of the military, the first thing I did was like, a big F you dad. And I was like, I was in Montreal at the time. We lived in a part of town called Griffintown, which if you don't know our place was right beside this place called New City Gas, which is like the best bar in Montreal. Very awesome place, right by the train tracks. It's the young, urban, hip place to be. And I was up on my terrace, rooftop. Guys on the barbecue. I asked him, hey, I'm trying to find a source. Do you know one? He's like, oh, yeah. Random guy, too. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know me. Just talking. He's like, yeah, I got you hooked up. Guy came to the house, had a seat in the car. He's like, how much do you want? I gave him the cash, and I was like, that's awesome. And then I went to sleep, and I was like, man, this is just like a sleeping pill. I don't like this at all. Anyway, so like it were casual for a bit, and then Trudeau made weed legal, as I didn't like it anymore. So I'm like, eh. So it was very clearly me with pent-up issues with the military. The reason I'm bringing this one up is because it is the post-Christmas episode. I think everybody's a little bit burnt out from yelling at Candace Owens. I think everybody's a little burnt out from pretending to really, really care about Charlie Kirk's wife. I think everybody's a little burnt out on which YouTuber is boxing who now. Got it all out of your system. Andrew Tate and the Paul brother both got knocked the fuck out. And you'd think everybody'd be like, remember that back when they were, first fights? You're like, yeah, I hope they get killed. And now they did, and you're like, I don't feel anything. And it's just because it's all fake. The Paul guy got knocked out, and he's like, yeah, he was pretty good. He knocked him out pretty good. He's suing him or some shit, and you're like, all right, whatever. The Tate one got knocked out, and then he's up there, and he's like, yeah, it happens. Everybody's like, aren't you happy about this? I'm like, no, not really. He went in, had a fight, he lost. He didn't cry like a bitch about it. It's like, what do you want from me? Well, I thought you hated Tate. Yeah, but so? I realize, like, most people aren't able to compartmentalize. They have to like instantly go at it, and I think that autism epidemic really is the source of it, where people just automatically spurg out and they have like individual categories and they're siloed in it, and you're locked in, and that's all you go. Oh, damn. Donnie Trejo with my uncle said the N-word with the hard R, and my cousin from Rhode Island says that's very offensive. I'm offensive, and she's very white and says, I don't want my baby to hear that. What the hell? What a weird... Yeah. I don't know, for me, my favorite part is I got an older sister. I think she's she's like a couple years older than me. But as soon as we get together, so I always have to hide power levels, like when I want to let people know what's on my mind. I'm like, most people I meet, they don't want to hear it. And then I get to her, and she's like, beats me to the punch. It's pretty awesome. Straight to like the native land treaty thing and all that. It's great times. So I think a lot of people just let it out, man. Just let it out. I think everybody needs to go to Japan once in their life. And if you're like, that makes no sense, I've been inspired. Worst boyfriend ever went to Japan and got a sugar baby from an autistic Chinese girl. And I was just reading the story, and I'm like, dude, I miss Tokyo so much. I've only been there for like a week in my life, but it was one of the best weeks ever. If nothing else, you go to the Tokyo's Times Square, like the main intersection. The one that you always see on the TV that's got the 4 crosswalks plus the one in the middle. And you realize how quiet they are in Japan. You could be in the middle of the downtown street during rush hour, and it is so quiet. You feel like you have to whisper. The one where it's so quiet you kind of like talk lower to your friends. It was like that. It's just wonderful. Anyways, the reason I bring that up is because I remember getting drunk with a salaryman in one of those. They have like the coolest bars there, which are like just an alcove. But it happens to have a whiskey bar there, and we were watching the Giants play baseball, and he only knew enough English to talk about baseball, and I only knew enough Japanese to talk about anime, but we somehow managed to figure it out. Anyways, he got blitzed. so blitzed in his suit, and I was just like, I think people need to understand that salaryman crunk culture. It's just like for that one day, whatever. It's in the military had it too. I call it mess culture. I even wrote about it in Fuck Files. It was just awesome. That one day where it's like, turn off the cameras, don't hold anything personal, get it all out of your system, and then the next day you wake up and you feel so sick. It's almost like a catharsis. And throw all your N-bombs out if you want to. Learning how to say it like big tits in Japanese gets you pretty far in conversations. Itaro bakaru. Yeah, because it's kind of like, feels good. Get it off your chest. But you're so sick from the alcohol that it's kind of like, I never want to drink again. But it's also like, I don't want to hold on to those problems again and let it off my chest. I don't know. Is it a red pill thing? No. Is it a salaryman thing? Yes. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. Could I spread that to others? I don't know. For a nominal fee, I'll try and figure something out, but I don't think it's going to be there. Still made millions, though. Well, and I mean, that's the point of this, right? In the end, it's all entertainment. But, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Maybe it's because of Frame. Maybe it's because of kayfabe. Maybe it's because I've been in the outsides of the industry for too long. I've seen too much. I don't know. But it's just like, yeah, all this stuff just kind of rings hollow. It's really hard to buy in. It's missing the verisimilitude. It's the kayfabe. I want to believe that Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior really hate each other. I don't need to know that they were doing coke in the back alley with Bret Hart earlier on. I don't want to see that shit. And I think everybody lately is just they're too winky, which really sucks because millennials invented that wink to the audience shit, and I don't like it at all. Not even a little bit. And everybody's doing it now because it was somewhat popular 10 years ago and nobody has any idea of what to do next. And it's not just YouTube blood sports. It's not just celebrity boxing. It's not just political theaters. It's not just the red pill bros doing red pill things, which thankfully is no longer as popular as it was. So people have generally moved on to yelling at Jews, which sucks for them. I feel bad for anti-Semites, man. I really do, because they've been anti-Semitic for like years, and then all of a sudden some like Candace Owens comes in, starts talking about it, and you're like, oh, fuck off. You know what I mean? Yeah, been there, done that. Currently wearing your Nissan Cup noodle socks. Oh, those would be nice ones. I am wearing my Lando Calrissian Star Wars socks. Now we have Twitch streamers driving over hobos. Yeah, the new guy, AstroTurf new guy. What's his name? Claviclar. Which totally sounds like an 80s cartoon villain. I guess he's some rich kid, some Nepo baby whose dad's paying to get impressions on social media. He did like the South Korean face surgery thing, and now he's sitting there trying to be like the next Sneeko, which why would you want to, but whatever. And I guess he ran somebody over with his car, but the guy had a face tattoo, so they're like, fuck him. Caligula. It's just... I don't know. I'm tired. I don't know how anybody's not tired of this and burnt out. And what gets me is that nobody's making something new. Because it's really like, if you're going to do bread and circuses, you got to have like the bread's poisoned and the circus is boring. You know what I mean? So either start fixing that economy or doing that. Having said that, I've heard the American economy is actually doing better, which congratulations, good for you guys. Who would have thunk? Just have tariffs unless they start building factories and hiring people. Heck, even Chesty showed it to me today. There was some NPR radio thing where somebody was talking about how Trump did some immigration changes and 1.6 million people just became illegal and got deported. And I was like, what? Why can't we have this here, man? That's so awesome. The best we've been able to do is we crunked the economy so bad that people are just leaving. Like, I'm going back to India where it's safe. Yeah, it's also a tiresome meme of the cat and the cigarette. Absolutely. He's American Psycho. Whatever. That's the thing. It's really hard to take this Nepo baby shit seriously when dad has to pay for impressions to get you on the radar. And I know it's the case because he didn't exist until like 3 months ago. So it's like, whatever. We're all Lieutenant Dan during that New Year's Eve party. We're all technically Lieutenant Dan during that rainstorm is what we are. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm hoping things calm down a bit. I'm hoping that at least until the election year. When's the next election? Another 3 years? So for another 2.5 years, everybody's going to start talking about gender slop. And that's you've been through 1 or 2 cycles now, you'll get it. But here's what happens. Is the election year, it's all about the goddamn Democrats and the racist Republicans. And then the election year is over. And then you got 6 to 7 months of like, I hate these guys or I love these guys. And then it's like, oh, by the way, did you know that 7 out of 10 divorces are initiated by women for the next 2.5, 3 years? And then you start ramping up to the next election cycle. So we are in the gender slop cycle. And I am tired of that too. I'm so tired of it. Substack is full of it. Mommy bloggers with nothing better to do start talking about, like, the best way into a woman's vagina is through the chores. Like, and not even ironically or with like a new take. It's like almost Chat GPT phoned in. I don't even see the takes anymore. It's just M dash. Yeah, like my reaction times. I'd like to stay away from everything. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel did a Christmas address to the UK and shit all over the country and the president, and he has to talk about it. Cry with it. Like, I don't even know how people even know that happened. King had a speech. I didn't listen to it. I don't know. After the Queen, the royalty kind of lost its luster. Plus, if you kind of know Charles growing up, you're almost convinced that the Queen held on for as long as she did because she didn't want her idiot son taken over, which, I don't know, I'm not supposed to say that about the monarchy, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But whatever, long live the king. I didn't listen to it. Everybody listened to it apparently though, and everybody had a strong opinion about it, and half the people hated it, and half the people ignored it. And I was like, all right, that's probably bad. But nobody ever said anything about it. They always just point and sputter, and I realized that's why I'm tired of it. It's because nobody's saying anything. It's the third worldification of our entertainment matrix, Nobody says anything. People just point and sputter. And I'm just thinking, every time I hear point and sputter, I hear it in Rich Cooper's voice when he says that. And it's true. And I'm probably as guilty of it as anybody. If I go back through my stuff when I'm angry at stuff, I try to make quips, but I'm pretty sure they're not substantive, at least not on Twitter. But it's Twitter. Who cares? You guys pay me like $40 a month. Fuck you. I'll give you what you get. Yeah, the Queen's speech, it did. And not just here, the whole Commonwealth used to love hearing that shit. They'd sit down as a family and just turn it on. Even my family, West Coasters, didn't even like the monarchy and put that shit on. It was awesome. The best I can equate it to for Americans is like those FDR fireside chats or those Ross Perot ones where you start pulling out a chart and talk about economics. It was like that, but like mixed with Mr. Rogers. It was just nice, but regression to the overall human mean. Oh, I know. It's the third world slopification, and I figured it out with TikTok of all things. Oh my God. So I had a goal. I was talking with my old lady, and I'm like, remember when, because she first got on TikTok like years ago, before TikTok got big, and it was all just big tittied cosplayers dancing to like Usher songs and shit like that. And I was like, man, that was an awesome TikTok, wasn't it? He goes, yeah. And so I go onto it now, and all I see is like chicks with septum piercings bitching about their dad. Pierre Polyev, and brown dudes bitching about racism, or like literal scams. Like, is how you get more money from the government. And I was like, holy Jesus Christ! So I made a conscious effort. I am going to block every bro, browns, and bitches account until I start getting back to the classic big titty cosplayers. I don't even want to watch it. I just want to know if it's still there. So I was probably blocking. Hold on a second, guys. Somebody just got an amazing coffee from an amazing woman. Oh, goddamn. Oh, I love it too. When it has that shredded wheat smell to it. I can't explain it. I think it might just be because I have like an issue. But yeah, when the coffee smells like shredded wheat, oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't even care about it. I just want to see if I can get there. So I blocked, it took like 2 weeks, and I blocked like 500 accounts total. I'm still blocking like 1 out of every 4. Every time it's one of these things. And I finally got like 2. And I realized like, oh my God, TikTok is now third world coded. Like, remember everybody used to bitch about how like rich people will do things and then poor people will start to rip off the rich people doing things so the rich people do different things. I think TikTok has gone through that, and now it's like third world coded. It's all like ethnic grievances, man. It's brutal. Oh, dear God. We got a James6656 with a $5 super chat. And you know what that means. Yeah, you know what that means.
So the meme, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha
Named Ryan Stone.
This says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline,
I am now concerned for my career.
And I still recommend clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not gonna have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just.
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
So you're like, I know its tradition is heartfelt, but can get a sad cappy instead. You're gonna get both, sir. We make sure you earn your money's worth here.
You're 45 and you can't shut up? You're the most mature one, but I saw your nipples and now we gotta worry about that. You're a criminal justice major, right? You're gonna bail out all these girls' sons right this time. You actually have a job. Long ago, she was a stripper. She put herself through college, law school doing that, became a lawyer now.
If I'm gonna get in trouble on table, I wanna fucking hear why.
By that time it's already tainted like this.
That is the most on-brand shit I've ever heard in my life.
Why would my son date you?
I don't want your.
So there's 3 cuts in that one that I absolutely love, and I don't think anybody understands them. The first one is when all of a sudden the camera slows right down when that one 40-year-old with the big boob starts having that, oh my God, bewildered look. It just reminds me of like when documentaries had the, and then everything went wrong. And they always added that little flair to it. And I just don't know why, but I love having it there, knowing that nobody else but me finds it funny. The second one is when Clary's talking about the stripper putting herself through college. And the one hotter chick with the big glasses, she licks her lips and then drinks the drink. I don't know. For me, it's like the whole, somebody's falling for Clary. They're falling in love. I don't know if anybody catches that one either, but I love that one. And then the third one is when the blonde chick does like the what? And then she doubles it again. What? That one I just like because it's like when it comes to video editing, they say the edit is the lie and the film is the truth. And that was it. Because right there where it's like, oh my God, these guys are too hot for TV. I don't think a Zoomer would understand what the hell I'm referencing there. But I'm hoping they pick up on the vibe, even if it is just subconsciously. So yeah, James, don't worry. The tradition is strong, but you will get what you want to. Yeah, my favorite is you actually have a job because that's so cappy. Yeah, it's a cappy one. But I'm talking about the edit parts, not the lines. Because every one of those cappy lines, I had to dredge through 3 hours of podcast footage to find like 4 or 5 quotes and a good story that I could like. I just realized that Sartain's laugh reminded me of Seth Rogen. Oh, he's going to fight you for that one. Oh, look at this. John Douglas in the chat again. It's good to see you, sir. I'll give TikTok credit for one thing. When I put the name of somebody I'm searching and it comes up immediately as if it knows. That would be nice. I've given up searching for people anymore on any of the platforms because they're just not going to show me. I just pray that they release something recently, and so when I go to subscriptions, they'll pop up. I'm like, thank God. Like, to date, I still can't search Rollo. If I type Rollo, I have to type the entire Rollo Tommaso, and at the last letter, it'll finally pop up by itself, and I'm like, you sons of bitches. And they're showing like a bunch of nobody accounts. I'm like, Rollo's what, like 250,000 people at this point? Like, come on, man. Like, I get you want to run him up the flagpole. Holy shit, Johnny Bravo's in chat too. Johnny, haven't seen you in forever. How's the fam doing? How was your Christmas? Is this your second Christmas now with the family or the first? I want to say the first. Either way. Congratulations. Oh, somebody was asking before too about the fight. I didn't watch any of the fights. I didn't watch was Jake or Logan Paul? Anyway, I didn't watch the Paul fight. I didn't watch the Tate fight. My girl watched the Paul fight. I was just playing Sky Factory on my laptop while it was on. So, I mean, I got the gist of it. I gotta say, though, it was definitely... From the little bits that were on in the background, I look over, I'm like, oh, he's being toyed with. That big son, man, he was huge. And he was just like walking him into a corner. He kept trying to do takedowns and shit like that. I'm like, oh, man. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this. The breaking the jaw thing kind of sucked, but whatever. He still made his bag. What was the bag for that one? I heard rumors that it was 20 million. I heard rumors that it was 200 million. I don't fucking know. Formative masculinity clowns finally got the circus they deserved. Well, that's the problem, right? It's the same problem they have with crime. Which, if you guys don't know, cops aren't necessarily smarter than people. It's just criminals are consistent. And cops are like women in that they may not be smarter, but they've learned through experience. And here's what happens when somebody breaks the law and they get away with a crime and they do the smartest thing and it's awesome and they feel the high off of it and they're like, yeah, I can do this again. And they break the crime again, or they do crime again. Like, wow, this is easy. I can do this all day. And then they start getting cocky. Like, well, let's see now if I can do this while leaving the camera on, shit like that. And then eventually the cop's like, oh, there it is. It turns out you just got to wait. People will always screw up if you give them enough time. And that's not even a social media thing. That's just a thing. But social media is a great way to explain it. I think Nuke has a rule where if you put a wife on social media for long enough, she always embarrasses her husband, like always. And it's true. You give them 6 months of like men are the greatest things ever, wife guy bullshit, and then at some point they're like, yeah, and that's when he lets me peg him, and they'll always throw some little thing in like that, and they'll think it's like praising him. And it's like, lady, why'd you do that to your man? You were talking about Spinal Tap Lake last week. That's an improv movie. I've heard it was that. Breaking the law. Oh, yeah, same thing with this. Like with the Paul fight or the Tate fight. From what I remember, and it's been a while since I've even looked at this stuff, but Tate would always pick like ringers or jobbers, as the wrestlers would call them. Guys that you could beat to look good. You know, they weren't great fighters, but they were able to make a show from it. And I guess he'd been doing that for so long, he started like picking higher and higher and higher caliber guys until finally he got one that knocked him out. Plus, he's like in his 40s now. And I don't know about you guys, but like the wall for guys is not like the wall. But we do have like if you're in the Olympics, that's why Olympic athletes are under 30. Your 20s are where it's at. And then there is going to be a physical decline. But the point is, you get some random 25-year-olds in peak physical condition. You get an amazing champion in his 40s. It's going to be hard. Unless you're George Foreman, which if you guys don't remember, when he came out of retirement in like his 50s to have a match, just knock that dude out was pretty slick. So it's just what it is. And then the Jake one, I'm like, I thought they were all scripted fights. So the fact that he actually got knocked out, I don't know. The rumor is that, I don't even know what the big guy's name is, but I guess he really just wanted to fight Tyson Fury. And so he was doing this as like a promotion to get the hype out of for it. So he didn't really even care about the fight. He was just there for this. So I think he actually wasn't supposed to hit him in the jaw that hard. Meh. But hey, you get a bag getting your jaw knocked out. Say the hard R to your family on Christmas. Enjoy your first Christmas with your family. Have a sad cappy. Accidents happen. Deport 1 million people. I don't know. Whatever. The world is what it is. It's just kind of... Like, I don't even want to say it's crazy. It is crazy, but it's not the craziest it's ever been. I'm pretty sure the 70s was crazier. Because back then they were assassinating people. Even in Canada, the nice, jolly Canada, there was FLQ. Front Liberté Quebec, something like that. FLQ was like our Quebec separatists. Back when they were like IRA terrorists. And they kidnapped... I want to say the Treasury Minister and a couple MPs. So like a couple House members and a secretary. And Trudeau's dad like locked down the place, martial law put out there, and he's like, I'm going to kill these fuckers. And then in America, they were assassinating everybody. Didn't they kill like MLK? And the CIA was just like, no, we're getting rid of all these communists. Yeah, assassinations are popular, but not in the West. Not like they used to be. We're barely assassinating anybody. Hillary Clinton did like 1 or 2. And all of a sudden now we're like, oh my God, it's just like the 70s. Not really. It's Hillary Clinton. It's one person. And I guess Epstein. Okay, so there's 3. Okay, in fairness, when I think about it this way, it does kind of make things sound as bad as the 70s. So they killed Epstein, and they got... Who was the guy that Hillary Clinton murdered? The one who committed suicide by the shotgun to the back of the head? Well, yeah, and I guess... Okay, and Kirk. And Trump. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. Maybe we are as bad off as the 70s. Maybe we are in that nostalgia phase. We're all over the 80s nostalgia. Because there was like a giant economic downturn in the 70s, which we kind of have now. And there was a bunch of political assassinations, which we kind of have now. And TV was just boring as hell and not very entertaining, a little bit shit showy, which is kind of what we have now. You know what? Thank you very much. Never forget, except for I forgot. And then the Vegas shooter. All right, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but where's the free love? Well, the free love was the late 60s. The 70s was kind of like post that. I mean, we had Soul Train, but we don't have Soul Train anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, everybody in the 70s figured it out, so we'll figure it out. We'll be fine. Heck, even in Soviet Russia, guys were getting laid, so it's like, yeah, it's bad. Actually, I think the Soviet Russia might be the bad example, but they survived is what I mean. What decade will be the next for the nostalgia drift? I hear it's the 2000s. The 2000s apparently are back. Kids are talking about watching Friends, low-rise jeans, that stupid little, like what's the little necklace they put around their waist, the whale tail. All that shit's apparently coming back. Oh, Dev, here's a good one. Yeah, that penne vodka and smoked beef ribs were great. I bet they were. I added MSG to the turkey meatballs, like you said. People loved it. I'm shoveling snow. Yeah, man. Like MSG, it's got a bum rap. Like, because you guys, I'm sure you've all known the thing where they say MSG will kill you or whatever. But it turns out the scientist that gave that recommendation just had Chinese food the night before, and it give him a headache, and so he doctored his thing to say this. Turns out MSG is just, it's like salt. Like, yeah, if you eat a ton of it, it's bad, but if you just eat it like normal, your body filters it just fine. It is officially the savory. That's just it. You know, salt is salt, sugar is sugar, fat tastes like fat. Well, savory is MSG. And so you can mix it to anything, and it makes everything just pop. You don't even need a lot. And I mean everything. You can add to sweet things, you can add to spicy things. It's kind of what got me started on the sweet and savory profile that a lot of like ethnic dishes have that they just don't have in the West as much, but they're starting to catch on. So I'm just glad that they loved it, man. And you're shoveling snow. I ain't shoveling shit. That's the best part about everybody's like, I want to live in a house. I'm like, dude, I would like my ideal place, like just condos. Make it the same size as the house, but make it a condo, because I don't want to shovel my own driveway. I don't like that. I like having security guards. I like having, if like somebody comes in to try and hurt me or my family, the guy at the front desk is like, no, we're not doing that. I want to live in Nakatomi Plaza, you know? Slow roasted prime rib, 5 hours at 150. Is 150 even enough to cook through? Hold on a second here. I got to look for this one. Safe temp for beef. Oh, 145. Fair enough. Covert contract attorney is teaching me something about heating meat. If you guys don't know, there's a certain temperature recommendation they have for all meats in order to get past like the E. coli stuff. And every meat has a different one. Thing I didn't know was how low beef's was. 145 degrees is the safe minimum internal temperature chart. So yeah, 150 degrees, 5 hours, that totally works. Which is hilarious because eggs are higher than that. Like, I don't know why, it's the one temperature one that I have memorized is eggs. So the yolk and the albumin, the white, it's 150 and 155 degrees is the difference between a soft yolk and a hard yolk. It's that 5 degree thing. That's why for a lot of guys, when they want to go hardcore hipster with ramen, is they put their eggs in a sous vide thing so they can make it at a straight 152 degrees. So that way you get that perfect runny yolk, and then when you put it inside of the marinade, it jellifies. And if you've ever wondered how they do it in like Japanese ramen places, that's how they do it. Or you can just do what a normal person does. Put them in a pot of cold water. And this is a thing you can do. Doesn't matter how many eggs you're doing. You put it in cold water. Make sure it's enough to cover it, plus. And then as soon as it boils, 6 minutes. And then you take them out, you shock them so it doesn't overcook. 7 minutes for hard-boiled, 6 minutes for soft-boiled. It doesn't matter how many eggs you do. It doesn't matter how much water. Like, it's just from the time they boil. It's just one of those things. Except for ground beef. Beef is pretty low. Yeah, well, I mean, ground beef, it's not even that it's a different temperature. It's probably the same temperature. It's just because there's so much more surface area in ground beef. People tend to play more cautious. Gone to that one with my old lady because she doesn't know anything about cooking meat. She's learning. And I talked about steak tartare or beef tartare, where it's like ground beef and they just mix it with the lime for the acids in that. And yeah, just the reason you have to be extra careful with ground beef is because it's ground and there's more surface area, more chance for bacteria to latch on to stuff. Yeah, it's because in ground beef, the surface bacteria gets mixed throughout. So yeah, you get... I've been over-boiling my eggs then. Yeah, it's one of those things. So like Seeker, I don't want to say like you've been doing it wrong because like I don't want to do that pretentious stuff, but it all depends what you're trying to do. So if you cook eggs, like boiling eggs, more than that, what happens is it releases sulfur into the yolks and it just kills the flavor. And you can work with that. Some things doesn't matter if you're making a potato salad or an egg salad. Doesn't really matter. But if you want to go, like if you want to make like a proper ramen with the soft egg, if you want to do soft boiled eggs, poached eggs, stuff like that, those things when they start to matter. Yeah, I've never used a thermometer for meat. Made brisket for the other time. Well, in the other day was perfect. I mean, I think as long as you know the temperatures, it's fine. But the one thing I do suggest too is, you mean Rocky sucking down raw eggs lied to me? Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I know in the 70s that was big, but because you don't want to. Oh, what's it? You don't want to denature the proteins. I'm like, a little denaturing wouldn't kill you. But the one thing I suggest is you get a separate thermometer and you put it in your oven. You have one of those oven thermometers because you'll be surprised how off the temperature is on your oven. Our oven is off by 50 degrees. It just blew my mind. Put something in for 350, the oven made it to 300. I was like, holy Jesus. And of course you have to take it into the factory to get them. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Why don't they have an option where I can just calibrate it? So I just add 50 to whatever I count it as now and it's good. Oh yeah, I'd imagine it's tender, which if you guys don't know too, and I mean, I know Dev knows this and I know Contract knows this, a good reason for that slower heat is because all of the connective tissues, the part that makes meat tough, and the fat, they'll render at that lower temperature slowly. So what happens with all the connective tissues is it starts to break down into, what do they call it? Gelatin. And the gelatin has a kind of a flavor profile of its own. The fat will start to render on its own. And so all those things that keep the meat tough and interconnected end up softening up. And then it becomes ultra tender, which is just great. But because you're doing it at such a low temperature, you're not overdoing it to where it sucks the moisture out of the meat fibers, which is how you get that, like if you ever had shredded beef or shredded pork, that chewy, stringy texture to it. That's what doing it at the slower temperature gets there. It's not going to be a cooking hour. We're just going to chill about it a bit. I'm not alone in hearing his mic. Is it cracking? Well, why didn't you guys say so, man? Here. I think I'm going to have to upgrade my my box then. I'm eating Pop Rocks. Yeah, just say something. That's better, I'm assuming. Let's wait for the chats here. All right, yeah, better. I'm not sure why. It just, for some reason, after 2 or 3 days of continuous operation, it sometimes gets that. But my Christmas list, my to-do list is to get a new preamp for this thing. So I think we're there. Yeah, once a minute. I'm not sure why that is. I'm just assuming I gotta get a new one. I thought I'd get away with it until New Year's, but I guess not. Anyways, so that's good. I do like seeing new things people are doing. Like ours was charcuterie board for Christmas, which I have never done before. I called it the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Dinner. Just because of the Elaine and the neighbors, how they had like their silver track suits and super stereo equipment and the mulled wine and stuff. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. It was pretty good. It's just quiet. Because I think that's the one thing. All right, we're going to do some red pill stuff now. I think there's way too much talk about what does a man bring to the table and not enough talk about how a man brings peace and comfort to the table, and sometimes that like sober second thought that is so vital. Because I've seen it in friends and their families. I've been over to a few Christmases from friends they brought me in as a stray, which was very nice. And the wife has plans and she wants it to be perfect. And if anything goes wrong, but then she overextends herself and then gets stressed, and then it starts a fight, and then the family starts. You never know how close you are with friends until they're all willing to fight with each other in front of you. It's like the most awkward and trusting feeling ever when a guy and his fiance start yelling at each other about shit in front of you, and you just have to pretend like you're not listening. So I never understood that. It's the same as those people that go on vacation and they pack their vacation with so many activities that they come home feeling more tired than when they left. I'm like, the point of a vacation is to like unwind. So why are you, well, yeah, but it's the only time we're ever going to get to Mexico. We got to make sure we do everything. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have to do everything. Do you really want to swim zip line across the shark pond or the crocodile pond in Tulum? Do you really? Did you even want to do that until somebody with a marketing degree told you? It's like, no. Did you want to go up to the cliffs or to the temples of Tulum? Yeah, I kind of wanted to do that. It's like, well, then just do that. Well, what about all this stuff? It's like, no, you don't need to go to La Paz. You don't need to take dune buggies onto the Baja. If you didn't want to do it, don't do it. It's like if you're ever in the military. There's a reason why sailors are the fattest of all the elements, and that's because the galley is open all the time. You can, if you really wanted to, you could have 6 meals a day on a Navy ship, because that's how often it's open, including the 4 o'clock meeting, the Stoker's Breakfast, which I don't know if the Americans have that, but in Canada, the Stoker's Breakfast is when the cooks just open the kitchen at 4 a.m. and you can go in and make yourself a sandwich. It's so nice, as long as you don't touch like their prep cook stuff. It's like the eggs and that, they just leave out what you can use. And I would always make like bacon and eggers or like McBreakfast things for when I was on the midnight watches. I want to go to Mexico and don the mask and wrestle again. Dude, I don't even want to go to Cocobongos again. I remember going in there and my only thought was, dude, this place is so packed. If there's a fire, none of us are making it out of here. And there was a whole bunch of midgets that look like Beetlejuice coming to meet us at the thing. And you have no idea how freakish it is when you're half cut. You just turn around because somebody taps you on the hip and you see like a 3-foot tall Beetlejuice staring at you speaking in Spanish. It's like, I don't care who you are. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for that. And you always have a look and you're like, but then you're like, realize it's a human being on the other end. So you try not to look like shocked or surprised. And you're like, all right, whatever. I give up. I can't do it. But yeah, and so same thing with Christmas dinner. When the girl and I are talking, it's like, what do you want to do? And I always like aim low for our stuff. We always end up doing more. Like she made these great, I don't even know what they're called. They're like, and usually she makes her own, it's like a pie crust. And in the inside, it's like a Mexican quiche, but it's not quiche. It's like the same things you would think of for like a burrito, but they're all in like little cupcake tarts with like a corn flour crust to them, which is really good. But she used phyllo pastry this year, which is also really good. But we weren't supposed to do that. But we ended up doing it anyway. Little things like that. But it's just, the point of the story was, a lot of you guys might be married and your wife has an idea. And I see it on TikTok too, where a wife is like, well, maybe if you would just help, then I wouldn't be so stressed. And it's like, no, that's not how enabling works. I mean, that's exactly how enabling works. Hey, I'm overcommitting to something. I'm stressing myself out for things that nobody cares about and then feeling really regretful when nobody appreciates it. And then I start spiraling and it's like, oh my God, the covert contract. This is right up my alley. And it's just like, sometimes you just walk a girl off the ledge. Babe, nobody is going to care if there's an equal amount of blueberries in the pancakes. You'll be fine. It'll be okay. And if it is, blame it on me. You would not believe how good. It's okay. Just blame it on me. Can do for a relationship in general. We have to go see certain friend or certain family, but I don't want to see them and they're this and it's all so much of a pain. It's like, yeah, just say I have to work. Blame it on me. Oh, I'd love to, but he has to work. I can't go. Saves the day, man. Saves the day. Wait, Johnny, you really used to wrestle in Mexico? Wrestled in Mexicali, where the promoter was part of one of the cartels and said I had to wrestle a semi-pro MMA fighter. I really enjoyed Loch Ness, one of the few things I did on my Scotland visit. Dude, that sounds like it would be a blast. I haven't been to Scotland yet. I've done Ireland, but I haven't done Scotland. And I gotta admit, wonderful area. I've noticed there's two types of Europes. I call it like English Europe and then Europe, or continental Europe, I guess. Because I noticed like Croatia, Portugal, Italy, they all kind of have the same European vibe to them. But then you go to like London or Dublin, and they all look British. Two different types of Europes. But the Cliffs of Moher, awesome. But do not schedule the distillery and the brewery on the same day. We went to Guinness for half the day and spent the other half of the day at Jameson. It's like, don't ever do that. Even the Irish were like, you did what? Like, yeah, what can I say? I was a sailor. Like, how you doing so far? I'm like, so far I'm all right. Give me another one. And it's Ireland, so they don't kick you out if you're drunk, which is great. Yeah, Dark Knight Dev, $10 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Thinking about switching out my pellet smoker for a master-built charcoal grill. You can use it like a pellet smoker, but the fuel is charcoal and it's digital, so you can control the temp like an oven. Dude, that's fancy as fuck. I had a pellet stove as a kid. I couldn't imagine a pellet smoker. Like, I understand it. But isn't the easy thing to do now just to grab that the green egg? Isn't that what everybody's using for smoking now? Or is it that you like the difficulty and the challenge of like manually doing it and you don't want this the plug and play, forget about it thing? Oh, here we go. Yeah, my wife spiraled when my son had less gifts to open. I pointed out this was like twice the cost. He'll be fine. We packaged his power cord in a box and he enjoyed it. Yeah, I've heard good things about Scotland. My girl's been to Edinburgh and she told me that I have to go and that everything is on a hill. Up 500 flights of stairs. So I'm looking forward to that too. We went to Inverness back in 2018. It was a great time until my cards got fucked up. I don't know, man. It's just the British Isles. I feel really bad for them because it's like such a wonderful place. It's like Canada. It's like, guys, come on, man. Get your shit together. Canada. Britain. You know? I'm thinking of this pellet smoker. Is it the challenge of it, Dev? Because me, I'm all... the green egg is nice, but not enough room to feed... Oh, okay, so you just mean a large thing. Well, do what all the Texans do. They have those giant oil drums that they weld together, add some hinges to, and they turn that into the giant smoker. I've seen people hook up, like... It's probably one of the coolest and most jury-rigged hookups I've ever seen. It was this dude. He had two... charcoal grills, and the first charcoal grill had like a bunch of HVAC pipes with a vacuum hooked into it that would blow the smoke into the other one and also provide the heat, because with all that oxygen in there you get like a roasty heat. And so he had like a barbecue still. I've never seen anything before in my life, and he had all the foil tape on it and everything. It was so ghetto, but I guess it made some of the best brisket ever, which I don't know. Yeah, the Royal Mile, every other store was a whiskey or cashmere store. And so many buskers. God damn, you guys are making me miss this trip. I'm gonna have to go back. Excuse me. Inverness is the tip of Loch Ness. Great day around the lake. It's on my list, man. I've been around the world. I hate to say it. You guys have got me beat on Scotland. My girl's got me beat on Scotland. Son of a bitch. I know travel's all weird now too, though. And maybe this is just Canada. I've never liked traveling in the States, like the American airports. And that's mostly a border security thing from Homeland. I don't like Homeland. I don't like their attitude. I don't like the way they, like, the rules are constantly changing and arbitrary. It just seems like it's designed to make everybody hate flying. And then they offer that paid thing to skip it, which I do now, but I understand the grift. Canada, especially the smaller, I guess the smaller airports aren't like that, which is nice. So like never go to Orlando. Fuck that. But yeah, it's just the whole flying experience. Plus it's always packed. And maybe that's because it's here, but I don't know if I want to say it this way or not, but I'm going to say it this way. There's too many Indians in the airport. And I'm not saying this to be racist. I'm saying this to be xenophobic. Everybody's flying to India, and it's just chaos. And I've been to India, so I'm not... And like, I've been to Chennai, and the way things ran in Chennai were uniquely Indian. And I'm noticing now at the airport here, things are running like they did in Chennai, and I don't like it. Yeah, Orlando sucks in general. I can't disagree. I liked the weather. I liked the fact that you guys have like a tram on your airport. A lot of fat people. A lot of fat people. More crackheads than I thought for Disneyland. But the Disney people seem nice enough, if not a little bit plastic and hollow. Keep in mind, though, I've got a bit of a not pleasant experience in my times in Orlando, so maybe don't take that for all it's worth. All things considered, I enjoyed Miami better. Son is flying out to San Francisco on Monday to visit with his girl for a few days. Oh, man. Why do you got to depress me? Because, John, like, I have been to San Francisco probably like a dozen times. The military, we'd go there like every year. And I remember what San Francisco was like in 2004, 2005, 6, 7, 8. We'd always hit Diego and Francisco. And yeah, then my girl had like a work conference and they pegged along on that one. It was like 2015. I was like, what the fuck? What happened? What happened to San Francisco? I have no idea if it's better or worse. I've kind of refused to go back since I think my last visit was 2018, 2019. I'm like, I'm not going back. It was just, I felt safer in like Tijuana, Mexico than I did in San Francisco, you know? I'm talking like cartel Tijuana. I felt fine. Guys were peeing on dumpsters and nothing. Make you think it's crackheads. But yeah, the Democrats brought the crackheads because, you know, you got to get votes from crackheads. It's not even the poop. I don't think I saw like human poop on the ground once, maybe twice. But the whole city smells like piss. The whole city. And it's just like, you can tell, I don't know how to describe it, but you can get like a vibe for a place when you're just walking around and interacting with people every day. And the amount of people that, like, I'd have a conversation if they said hi versus I'm going to make sure they don't have a knife when they say hi was way too high in San Fran. And of those that were the nice ones, you could tell there was like a cold detach. Like in Toronto, I'm used to seeing that cold detachment. It's just Toronto. But to see it in San Francisco was just weird. Especially when, like, San Diego, much friendlier people, man. You just run up and talk to somebody. He'll talk too fast and he'll have a thick accent, but it's like, whatever. It's almost like a small town vibe. Like, if you want to see the difference, go to San Francisco and then fly to Halifax on your way home and then go there and sit in like a grocery store lineup and then the person behind you just strikes up a conversation for something to do. Like, it throws you aback. At first you think you're on candid camera or something until you realize, oh, they're just talking to me. And then you relax and realize, oh, it's like family. All right. It's nice stuff. The green egg is 1800 and the master build is 1600, but you can control the temp. Unlike the green egg, you can cook 20 slabs of ribs. Oh, okay. So, dude, you're going. I thought you lived in New York. How do you have this much space to cook this much meat and shit, man? That's crazy. Hey, is that a... Oh, wait a minute. I gotta see. This looks like a Billy comment underneath. I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's not... I hope he hasn't killed himself or anything stupid. No, you're a real guy. Oh, look at that. All right. I have the impression that many red pill podcasters go political. Are you thinking of that? Why, man? I've done very, very little political stuff. I had like a video on the trucker convoy. And I mean, I bitch about Trudeau, but who didn't? Who didn't? Back then, everybody was doing it. It was just a cool thing to do. The going political thing, I don't have the stomach for it. It's just, I think you have to hate yourself. Like, as much as I want to get yelled at every day and then yell at other people all day, I don't have it in me. Nah, man, I'd much rather rate just Cyberpunk. I like taking the piss with things. I really am so glad. It's like me being a lifelong fan of Cyberpunk, reaching 2025 is like you being a fan of the Chicago Bulls the year before Jordan joins. You're like, oh man, this is great. I knew if I just waited it out. I live with my aunt's house in Queens. I keep my grills in the 2-car garage so I can grill year round. Oh, fuck, well, never mind that. Yeah, the big smokers look like big green eggs. Yeah. Well, it's good to know then. It's just that I need to do an entire side of beef in one go. I can't be using that green egg. No, I'd love to, and I'm honestly I'm kind of burnt out on the red pill stuff to begin with, and it's not because I don't know what I'm doing, or it's not because it's no longer cool or popular. Like I still do the workshops every week, week in, week out. They are the only reason I still enjoy red pill in any form, because guys are doing real work in there, and it's heartwarming to see, and probably some of like I talk about this a lot, but like the two things that I really love seeing. And it's very hard to see, and you don't see it often, but when you do, it's just magical, is the one where, and we all know the mental models, like, oh, she's not yours, it's just your turn, or any of that shit. And everybody says it, and we all repeat, and we laugh, and we joke around, we retweet it and whatever. But there is a guy who will reverse engineer and build one of those platitudes from the ground up in their own life, and then they'll describe it. But they won't use the term. And then you mention the term, and they're like, oh, yeah. Same thing there. I love that. I love that shit. That one, and then when a guy makes a self-interested decision, and you never think somebody just did something selfish. Oh, whatever. That's not good. It's like, you got to remember, man, a lot of guys have been plow horses their entire life. So when you see a guy say, nope, I'm doing this, and chips fall where they may, and they are just not even... It's not that they're unconcerned about the consequences. It's that they've thought it through and they're like, I can live with whatever. And so it's like disconcern over it. Like, I've done the math. I don't care. I love that shit too. 'Cause it's just like, I don't want to say you're watching a real man bloom, or nothing faggy like that, but it's just one of those, it warms your heart, man. It's like the exact opposite. If you ever see like a grown man cry on TV and it makes you feel awkward and you don't want to be there anymore, it's like the opposite of that. It's just lovely. Yeah, I love when you talk about red pill concepts, but I really enjoy talking to you about food. I was hoping you liked talking to me about movies, man, because I gotta ramp up in the new year Orion again. I've still got the script for Cheech Marin's Born in East LA, and now I think with all the ICE stuff out of the way, none of the immigration jokes are gonna land on that one, so I feel like I've really let the audience down, but that'll be fun. Plus, Ghost of Odessa, I'm supposed to get it back. Christmas got in the way, but Nick's going to have it back to me in a day or two, which is going to be awesome. Get started on that one. Prax 4, I've been doing the desktop publishing for Praxeology Volume 4, and, it's about a sixth of the way done right now. So I'm going to have like 2 books out in rapid succession, which is going to be awesome. I might have to stagger it just so I don't think you're supposed to release books on the same time, but whatever. What's this? Ryan, you want to move in, get a cohab? I don't think you'd be able to begin with. Why do you want me answering that question for you, man? You don't want me to tell you what to do. What the fuck is this? I'm not Jesus. I'm not your dad. I'm not the law. Don't ever ask me what I think you should do. Because here's the thing. If you ask me, what do I do? And I tell you something, you don't want to do it. You're not going to do it anyway. So why do I waste my time? You just want me to tell you what you were going to do anyway. So you can be, oh, okay, thanks, man. There, some second person said it. Now it's okay. We have a consensus. Didn't you watch I didn't watch Avatar 3. Would you watch Cheech Marin's Shrimp on the Barbie as well? To be fair, if I were to do like a Cheech Marin marathon, Born in East LA, Corsican Brothers, and because I cannot remember it, I don't remember if I liked it or not, Up in Smoke, back with his Cheech and Chong shit. I would be very curious to see if that one held up after 50-some years. But yeah, the Corsican Brothers was just it deserved to be better. I still think it was the greatest Cheech and Chong movie. It came out after The Princess Bride, and it was kind of like Cheech and Chong do The Princess Bride. The idea is they were 2 brothers that had this they were twins, and if one got hit, the other one would feel it. And so it was just like about those guys on a wonderful little adventure. But it was just funny because I very distinctly remember they had a fight in the middle of it because they were mad at each other. And so for the fight, they would just start hitting themselves so the other one would feel it. And I remember Cheech at one point took his broken sword, jabbed it into his nuts to hurt Chong, who's from Edmonton, by the way, a fellow Canadian from my hometown. So that's pretty slick. See, I'm not going to watch Avatar. Why would I watch this? That's the other thing that gets me. And I got friends with guys that like are into that stuff. And it's like, I don't want to watch things I hate. Do you know how many things that I like that I haven't gotten around to. I don't got time to watch Avatar 3. I don't remember Avatar 1. I never even watched Avatar 2. Why the fuck would I watch Avatar 3? Every time that gets mentioned, I think of his monologue, and then Tarantino's. Well, in fairness, there's like a monologue in Born in East LA, where he has to bounce for the bar, and he kind of does like a PG-13 version of his Dusk Till Dawn bartender Cheech Moran thing. I got terrible taste in films. I miss the teen movies that were gross and immature, like American Pie, Teen Movie, or The New Guy. Those aren't bad. That's the other thing. People kind of forget. That was like a very specific genre where they mixed like gross out comedy with like extreme sentimentalism. And it was like, they were a product of their time, but you can't make those anymore. They don't work. But yeah, there was nothing wrong with that. American Pie was actually a very good coming of age movie with like that Nickelodeon gack vibe thrown into it. The teen movies, yeah, you're kind of suck on those, but that's just because the Wayans brothers, for some reason, cannot make a satire to save their life. And I haven't watched The New Guy, so I don't know for sure. Or is The New Guy the one with Deadpool boy, Ryan Reynolds? Or was that the one with the other one? Yeah, never coming back. Young white me are not the drivers of commerce anymore. Women make 2 times the purchasing decisions. It's not just that. It's the immigrants. Figured that out at IKEA. I went down to IKEA every now and then because my girl wants I need a very specific thing. So we end up in IKEA for it. And I walked in there and I'm like, oh my God, it's Mogadishu. And I get a feeling that every time they move immigrants into Canada, those immigrants will load up a huge amount of debt to buy all the IKEA furniture and all the Walmart stuff and all the furniture from the brick, and they just spend everything. Massive amounts of debt. They can't be fired from their jobs, can't lose their status. It's like a great consumer base. I was wondering what was going to beat women out in conspicuous consumption. It turns out the ethnics can't stop the brand new ones. Yeah, and see, Covert's right too. It's never coming back. I had an old essay on this one, but I've since deleted it. I got to redo it. Young white men are not the drivers of commerce. Women make 2 times the purchasing decisions. It's not even 2 times. It's more like 4 times. Like, I think I've referenced it before, but there was was it Verizon or MasterCard? MasterCard has like an annual report on the state of credit in the world. And there was 2 things that were very important to remember. One is they showed how for disposable, like discretionary spending, women are a $14 trillion a year industry in the world, and men are like 4. So it's like not even close. And, oh, it's that one with Eddie Griffin. Okay. That one I kind of remember. I didn't mind that one. It was good. As far as like an SNL type movie go. The second thing on it was the big spend, because at the time when I was reading the one was in 2008, they were talking about micro loans to India. And they were to give it to women because women are better at spending than men or some shit like that. Men just wasted on booze. Women actually buy things. Turns out women are just conspicuous consumption. But it was the idea of getting credit into the third world. And that was the big push. Because then once you put debt into the third worlds will spend. They'll put spinners on their rims like you wouldn't believe, man. And so you see that, and then you kind of watch the way things go, and you're like, I kind of get it. All these people saw a lot of cash, and they did. It's cheap debt at this point. The debt, you can sell it off to somebody else. Like, yeah, this debt is now a financial product, which it's the thing that blows my mind. Because I see like creditors do that, right? If you rack up a phone bill, $1,000, you aren't paying it. They sell that debt to a creditor, and then the creditor harasses you for it because you buy it for pennies on the dollar. That is not how I've always heard of or seen or conceptualized debt. Debt was always, I owe somebody money, I have to pay them back. It's like a liability. But for some reason, people have turned it into a financial product. It's like you're buying a business. Here's a business you have to buy. It's got this much assets. It makes this much money. But they're doing it like that. It's like, yeah, here's this guy with $1 million in debt. He has to pay back $1.5 million by the end of the loan. And here's his risk factors. I'll sell this to you for $500,000. That used to be the plot for every counterfeit money movie out there, like To Live and Die in LA, when Willem Dafoe was making counterfeit money. That was his grift. And now that's a thing. And nobody's calling in this debts. And until they call it in, people are going to keep doing it. So it's all just fake money over top of fake money. I'm actually very surprised we haven't had a major 2008 level crash out on this one. Like, I know the market can stay insolvent longer than you can stay, or the market can stay insane longer than you can stay solvent, but still, I don't know, man. Yeah, money is cheap when you keep printing it out. And of course you're going to keep printing it out, because if I owe $1 million in debt, but they devalue the currency 20%, I just made money off of that one. But you see what I mean? Yeah, crash yet. Ask that Argentine chick who sings from the balcony of the Pink House. I don't even know that reference. But yeah, it's crazy. And that's why I feel like I sympathize with Zoomers. I get it. I know the social awkwardness stuff because they weren't raised right. But it's like, dude, even at my age, I'm like an older millennial. And the fact that when I look at me and my friends and my family and everybody around my age and my class, and you just see how like things are going, it's like you had to make perfect, optimized financial decisions just to stay ahead of the wave. Like anybody who didn't got left behind so quickly, and it was just crazy. Like, make no mistakes or you're done. Got it. It's the oh fuck. I just remember Madonna was in that one. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, Madonna's one. I don't remember what the movie is called though. I do remember the song and I do remember Madonna. God damn it. Yeah, well. Evita, that's the one. Very sad, man. All right, you know what? Actually, you know what? Here, I haven't done some of these ones. I haven't done in forever. Remember this chick?
Here's a story of a cocky lady who thought her gold standard was legit. Then finally, when she got an actual challenge, it all went to shit.
I hate that chick so much. I mean, like, not a lot. Not like I don't sit about it and think about it all day, but like every time somebody puts her face on something on the internet, I'm just like, oh, fuck that bitch. Yeah, on the debt, just like Wile E. Coyote, just don't look down and hold up the yikes sign. I think that's part of the craziness too, is like things are very complex right now. And so the less than, I don't want to sound pretentious with this one. I'm just going to say it how I say it. Just take out the pretentious. Like, for the people that aren't as smart about this stuff, and I'm not saying I'm gifted, but like there's a certain threshold. You know what I'm talking about. And they don't know how any of this works. And so they just kind of ascribe it to magic Jewish pedophiles. And it was like, I don't think that's the Rothschilds are the reason that you're indebted up to your eyeballs. I think it's because you wanted a $1,200 car. And I've always said, like, and you get the libertarian side of it, like, whatever, markets will figure it out. Zero protections. And then you get the little socialist commie kids who are like, nope, privatize the benefit and socialize the risk. And I'm like, no, that's not it either. There is clearly a percentage amount that a nation needs to do to prevent people from getting predated by, you know, people like this. And the number is not 0, but it's not 100 either. I don't know where the number is. I just know could probably do it a bit higher than what we got it now. Because it is so easy to separate a fool from his money. I'm just amazed. Like, I'm still bothered. They had like that data dump of the War Room. You know, the Tate's thing. Remember that? A year back? And I actually read through it. Because this one guy I know who does like autistic citizen Nick whatever. You son of a bitch. I'll get back to that one, Covert. And he's like, yeah, just so you know, you're mentioning the Tate files. I'm like, probably not fondly. Call it a hunch. Sure enough, not fondly. They do not like me in the War Room, and I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. But it was just like a bunch of kids who had dreams of riches beyond their wildest dreams, but they didn't know how money worked, and they didn't know how debt worked, and they didn't think they had to pay taxes and like all of this shit. They didn't know how to do tax evasion or tax avoidance. They were doing tax evasion. If you don't know the difference, it's about 5 years in jail versus a nice check. And I just realized, like, oh my God, everybody who's making large amounts of money right now is most likely predatory towards economically illiterate people. And because we've imported so many economically illiterate people, it's probably been easier than it's ever been. And I'm starting to think that Clary had the right idea when he was talking about his Project Evil, whatever he called it. So now back to the important things. Covert's coming to me at Costco. So few East Asians. Fuck you, man. Oh, actually, in fairness, the Christmas season has been absolutely wonderful. Everybody flew back to India, and I guess they're gone till the spring because they just do not want to deal with Canadian winters. And so December has been a wonderful Costco experience, which I thought would be way worse, but it's not. The mall is apparently chaos. I ain't going to the mall. But the roads have been better. Of course, the few that are on the roads are just flying off the roads too, so whatever. Yeah, greater centralized living leads to greater predation. I guess so. I mean, I can't argue with that. Operation Evil, thank you. Or even just people that don't read the terms. Yeah, and I get it. Like, the terms are such, like, large, opaque documents full of so much legalese. Like, clearly a lot of these ones have been designed so they're made to confuse you and give them excuses to do what they want. I know, I've been on a couple corporate meetings where we're designing contracts dealing with vendors, and it's the same thing. Make things vague, make things open for interpretation so you got some wiggle room. I get that, but yeah. Now, we have snowbirds for a season through Easter. You know what's crazy? Fuck, I haven't heard the word snowbirds in forever. We used to have snowbirds everywhere, and I was in small town BC growing up and raised in like midtown BC and then Alberta, big town Alberta, and then big town Montreal. I used to always know at least like a handful of people that they or their parents were snowbirds. I don't know any snowbirds anymore. I don't know if Canadians snowbird like they used to. Like, I'm sure in Montreal and Toronto there's a couple that sneak off to Florida still, but I think that was like a boomer thing. I don't think the millennials can afford it. Whatever. I will say though, and I'm back to the red pill stuff. That is the one thing that is actually going to be useful out of this economic retardation we got going on right now. Because like, I get it. The whole reason that all these migrants are being bussed in is to prop up failing companies and failing industries with like lower wages so that they don't have to feel the effects of an economic contraction. I get that. I get it. The one thing that is beneficial for a guy's sake is that, did you know divorces go down during economic hardships? Yeah. It turns out when like people are too broke to leave, they make an effort to work things out. Well, we're stuck together. Let's figure this out. And as much as I say vetting doesn't work, insofar as I would say there's something to vet for in a woman that you want to spend your life with, I will say vet for stubbornness. The more stubborn, the better. Stubborn people hate quitting. What? Lots of Ontario plates near you. I bet you they're boomers then. It's gotta be. Or maybe I'm just so detached from the people that are doing the snowbirding. Maybe it's all government workers now. I don't know if marriages go up. That I don't know. I'd have to look into that one, and I don't trust a lot of stats. But yeah, like divorces drop. That was where that's when I was really reading it. It was about the Great Depression. It was one of the things they noticed, that during the Great Depression, people just were not separating. They were sticking it out. And it kind of ties into that the red pill thing where everybody's always talking about the TFR, the replacement rate, like how many kids are being born or whatever. The population, yeah, it's TFR. I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, whatever. But if it's below 2.2, your population's shrinking. Like, how do we get it higher? And it's like, it's very easy. Stop giving economic advantage to women. But like, nobody wants to do that. Women don't want that. No, I don't want to have to rely on a man. And the men are like, I don't want to have to take care of a woman all by myself. So we all kind of want it the way it is. So whenever I hear people bitching about the population is shrinking this and the population is shrinking that, it's like, we're getting exactly what we wanted. Yeah, likely boomers. That I would not be surprised about. I didn't want to yell at boomers this time, Covert. But fuck do I want to? Oh, man. Even the boomers in my family, I love them to death, but it's just like, just want to shake them around a bit, you know? But yeah, that's really it. If you want to ask why women's years they're getting married on, they've been moved from like 23 to like 27 to almost 30 now. The reason it's getting so late is because women have other things to do. They're going to college. They're going to university. They're starting their careers. They're getting established. If you want that rate to drop, you either make that years to get educated and established shorter or just remove them. But we don't want that. Everybody wants to hire women because women are easier to work with and they're less ornery and they're less risk taking, which is great from a company standpoint because you hate taking risks. So we don't want that. So we want exactly what we're living in right now. And this is, again, it's one of those vindications for the red pill where the whole plan is not to alter society to be the way that you think would be ideal because A, you don't know, and B, you're not going to change anything. You're just one guy. Even if it was a million guys, we're not changing shit. The Chesty loves this reference where the Million Man March. You ever hear about this one? There was, I think it was in the late 90s, a Million Man men's rights advocacy march about men's rights. They went to Washington. They did the whole thing and nobody cared and nothing changed. Nothing, man. So it's like, yeah, this is where we're living. This is what we're going to have. And you're just going to have to learn to adjust to it. And it's good. Well, it sounds like you gave up. Gave up on what? I'm not in a war. It's not my fight. The TFR, it's not my issue. Yeah, the look what you left us in urge. It's not even that. It's just, like, I don't want to get too personal on this one, but there's like a lot of conversations I'll have with uncles or aunts or parents or in-laws or whatever. And it's the thing that they tell you is, how to put this. Actually, you know what? I know. I got a story. This is actually before Christmas, but there was this chick I met. Her name was Irene. I've never met her before. Didn't really know her. She was a friend of the family's. And some of my cousins were out there bitching about how they can't afford to take their kids to sports anymore because they like the idea of their kids having a nice rounded education. The one kid liked horses, so they take him to like an equestrian camp once a year, which sounds bougie, but it's not as bad as it sounds. The other one just wanted to do baseball, so much more normal. But in Canada, there's no baseball league, so they actually have to take him down to the States, take a road trip. You can't afford it anymore. Dollar shot, economy's crashed, whatever. And they just want to get, because it's really hard and like work's cutting back, all that stuff. And the Irene chick's like, oh, you entitled millennials. It was basically like the avocado toast conversation. And I was like, you can't really call them selfish and entitled. They're not doing anything for themselves. It's all for their kids. And then I shit you not in the next sentence. Well, our parents were raised in a shack when they moved here from Ireland in 1912 or whatever the fuck year it was. I'm like, are you just doing that thing where you're like, well, my parents had it bad, so why aren't you guys suffering? It's like you didn't mention any of your shit. And then in the next sentence after that, talking about, we'd always take like 5 years off from our jobs as like university professors or whatever it is they were doing. We go to Machu Picchu and just live off the economy there and then come back for work. And it's like, you can do that? Dude, you can't take 5 years off now. If you want back in your industry, you can't take 5 years off. You think if I tried to go back into InfoSec, I wouldn't be looked at like a brand new junior analyst? Oh, dude, I'd be fucked. But it's just all the little things like that, like a complete disconnect in the way that you're able to live now versus then. And this is, again, it's why I cannot stand that traditional conservative one, because it's not even, at least the boomers are old enough to have that traditional idea of what should be, which can happen. But it's like a simulacrum. You ever heard of this term? The simulacrum. Simulation is when you simulate something in the real world, right? Oh, I know how to drive a car, so you like simulate a car. A simulacrum is where you're making a simulation of a simulation to the point that it's detached from the original thing it's meant to do. So when you see TradCons, it's a simulacrum, essentially. They talk about trad life, but they're talking about cigarette ads. It reminds me of The Kids. If you ever watched Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome, it's like those kids. And those kids, they had a photograph of like an airline pilot and like a brochure for a Hawaii trip. And they built up an entire history of the world and the history of the apocalypse based on this. They had no idea what anything was. Nothing was. You take 5 years off. Dude, the AI bot thing, that's got to be one of the biggest. I cannot believe how the AI scam has worked, because AI sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck. It sucks if you're treating it like a person. If you think AI is going to write a novel, it's not going to write a novel. If you think AI is going to be a master artist, it's not going to be a master artist. If you think AI can replace the job of a lawyer, it's not going to replace a lawyer. It can do certain things really well. Like if you want to do discovery as a lawyer, like look through 800 years of paperwork or whatever, it can do that better than a person. It's OCR really good, like reading text from screenshots and stuff like that. That stuff's really good. Yeah, it's a tool. But people are talking about it like, oh, this is going to replace, investment bankers and stuff. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's a fancy calculator. But that's the thing. Everybody has sold that lie, and they're spending trillions of dollars on building up this lie. In reality, they've just built like better software. But I think it's because there's this neat little thing going on right now where everybody is trying to do layoffs, but not call them layoffs. Because it turns out, at least in America, and I think Canada too, there's actually laws. If you fire above X% of your workforce, there are certain legal obligations you have to have. And so what people have figured out is, well, if we just do this in a fancy way, kind of like in during the Sabbath, how like you're not allowed to touch buttons, so you work the machines so they don't need you to hit buttons to make them work. You know, that whole tricking God thing? It's like that, but for the economy. So one of the things they do is they say your job's being replaced by AI, and they're replacing people with AI, but the AI is not really doing it. They're just giving all his workload to somebody else with a couple new, AI tools. Or they're doing layoffs in very small but continuous drips. So if like your company's however many people, if you lay off 100 people, you're beholden to whatever legal obligations, and you have to tell stockholders, and they don't like hearing that anyway. So they'll fire 50 people, but you don't have to say anything for 50 people. And then 3 months later, they'll fire another 50 people. So it's the same thing. They just managed to skirt the law to do it. Of course, there's the added detriment that if you're in a company that's firing, 50 people a month, you're essentially psychologically in a drawn out version of the same existential dread that people have for layoffs normally. Because I've been at a company when I had the layoffs. I was kind of like, I didn't care as much, but a lot of people, you could tell, like the instant the first round came, and then the boss came out, it's like, hey, just so you guys know, this is it. We're done. We're good to go. Your jobs are safe. And I remember one of my coworkers that I was working for a startup. He looked at me, he's like, dude, they're laying off more people. I was like, what do you mean? He just said, yeah, no, he's not. And sure enough, another round of layoffs. I was actually at the convention that shall not be named. And while I was there, the company's stock price dropped like 50%. I don't want to get into why, because that's a little bit too much PII, but then I got back. I came back a day early, and it was a weird office environment, and I couldn't figure out why it was so weird. It's because they had planned to add me to the layoffs the day I got back, but because I got back a day early, they didn't know what to do. So it was just kind of like, all right, there's nothing for you, so let's just have meetings. And I was like, all right, whatever. Next day I got laid off. I was actually mad, not because of the layoffs. I was like, why didn't you guys tell me before I did 90 minutes of traffic driving in the morning? The boss was like, I think it was the boss's first time laying people off, so he felt really bad. I'm like, fuck, whatever, I don't care. Let's get this over with. Everybody just slow down. Then that was when Rich was like, yeah, and most people start entrepreneurship the day after they got laid off. Because it's like, oh, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. And that's when I came here. Fun fact. Is that Marty in the chat? Oh, good. AI is a better scam than Indian phone centers and Somali Medicare fraud. Well, and that's the thing. It is. But nobody cares about the AI. They just care about using it as a screen. And so, yeah, we are in a recession right now, at least in Canada. We're in a recession, and they're hiding it with AI and like tricks with the replacement, the shadow jobs, and everybody's kind of learning all the different little techniques and tips and tricks, and they're spreading them out. Like there's this one website that looks through where all the hidden jobs are being put, because you have to put a job up for a certain amount of time, and if nobody applies, then you say, well, I need an immigrant for it. So they're finding these ones and putting them up and telling people to apply for them, which basically jams up those plans, which I think is hilarious. Absolutely funny. The AI thing to replace, the small amounts of layoffs, all this stuff. And I laughed too because there was like a bunch of I block all third world content from my stream now. I might give a quote tweet to make fun of it, but I block it right after. And I'm getting in the habit now of blocking Canadians too because they just drive me fucking nuts. Oh, they drive me nuts. There was this thing floating around about Canada having our lost decade from 2015 to 2025, which is absolutely true. But a couple liberal supporting journalist types are like, you guys are calling this the lost decade. It's not the lost decade. And they'll throw some random charter graph that has nothing to do with nothing. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I actually looked into it. I'm like, what? Describe to me the economic situation in Japan's lost decade. So I do some research. It was 16% growth over 10 years, basically nothing. It was over 20 years. So it averaged out to like 1.6% per year. And then you look at Canada's, it was like 0.6% per year, 6.2% for the decade. And I was like, you're right, actually. This is not as bad as Japan's lost decade. I would kill to have Japan's lost decade. Yeah, if you have to fire a whole bunch of H-1Bs, is it really a layoff? Yeah, and that's the thing too. You fire a bunch of H-1Bs, it's not layoffs. It's just you're canceling their contracts. And the ripple effects are just crazy too. Because, like, video games suck now. Everybody knows this, right? I think the average Steam game that people are playing right now was made in 2013 or earlier. And people aren't realizing it's tied to this. It's absolutely tied to this. Game companies used to have their own internal graphic and game engines, and it would take like 18 months to learn how to use, 3D Realms one or id Software's one. And then you would be developing games. And then what happens was, in order to save a couple bucks, while we're not actively working on our AAA title, we're just going to fire all of our developers. And then they would hire more developers. The new developers took 18 months to get up to speed on whatever their engine was. But the game timeline was too tight, and that's why you have all this like buggy shit coming out. Nobody knew anything. Work had to be fixed and patched later on. And so what happens is all of the H-1B workers got really good with Unreal Engine. And so companies started switching off of their own proprietary gaming engines to Unreal. And that's why every game feels and looks the same right now, because it's all developed with the same game engine. And now, since everybody knows Unreal Engine 4 or 5, whichever one they use on the regular, you fire your staff after every game, you can hire a new staff on the next game. Economically, it makes perfect sense. Of course, it destroys the industry and nobody likes it and everything's the same monotonous slop of goop. But, see what I mean? It's all connected, man. Gamergate was right. And I want to say getting laid is like the benefit of it, but I just feel, dude, the more stories I hear out of people coming off a Hinge. I mean, they're either really good or really bad. Like, Nuke's got some good ones. Well, had some good ones, I guess. But, it kind of reminds me of a mix of the very beginning of when I heard Plenty of Fish came online and the very end of when Plenty of Fish went offline. If you don't know what I mean, when Plenty of, because dating apps have a life cycle. When it first starts, like people join on there to have fun, and it's like attractive people and it's fun people, and they go on and they get laid and it's great. And then uglier people find out about this and they want to join in the party too, and they come in and they ruin it, and then all the attractive people leave, and then all left is the Uggs, and then the crazy people show up, and it's just, yeah, the closer it gets to the mean, like a regression to the mean, the worse it gets. The cycle used to be like a couple years, now it's like 18 months. I think it's down to like 6. I don't even know anymore. I don't even keep track. But when Plenty of Fish first came on, I remember my boss used to come back to me. His name was Jean. Johnny 5, like the robot. And he used to come over, he's like, dude, you guys seen this Plenty of Fish thing? And he's like this old Quebec dude too, right? It was always funny. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? At the time, we just went to the bar, so it's like, whatever. It's like, yeah, man, you just sign up and it's like, you get email a girl and you get a blowjob. I'm like, eh. Like, fair enough. And that was like the beginning of Plenty of Fish. People were like, literally like, hey, you want to get together and hang out? Like, sure. And then bam, blowjob and you're done. And then at the end of it, it turned into like crazy, fat, single mom, psycho, like all that shit. And it seems like right now when guys are online dating, every story I hear from it is like either one or the other now. Some absolute time-wasting crazy bitch versus like an extremely, it's almost too easy, kills the fun of the game. Yeah, and Marty, I remember yours. Yeah, when I need a good laugh, I scroll through Tinder. Always see a lot of Nick August cousins. Dude, the both of you guys. So if you guys don't know, my editor Nick and Marty in sales here, they, as a joke, sometimes they'd send me some of the stuff that's on like Tinder in their area. And oh my God, Tinder is definitely at the late stage, plenty of fish part of their life cycle. Cause some of these bitches are just like rough, man. It's like not even rough, but like rough. And I don't know how they do it. I mean, I know how they do it. They just go on it for laughs and they go meet girls in real life. But then Marty's, you know, he's, but oh man, I'm actually afraid. I would go on to the Toronto one, but I've heard some stories. The one I've heard from Toronto, A, white chicks all put no Indian dudes in their profile now. B, it's all Indian dudes floating on the thing, and white guys just disappeared. I don't know where we went. Somehow we got Yugoslavian aided, and nobody told us, and they're just gone. Yeah, rough doesn't begin to describe it. Yeah, that's like Hex is right. The actively pregnant ones always send me. That's like. I like me a little misogyny. Don't get me wrong. Shitting on women, so much fun. Kills an afternoon. Merry Christmas. But like, there's times when you see some shit and it's just like, oh, you gotta stop doing this to yourself. Like, it's pity. You know what I mean? Just pity. I don't want to sign on to see some shit for pity. I want to see a skateboarder trying to ride a rail on a skateboard and get nutted by the post. Like, I want some funny violence. I don't want some whole, like, I'm 3 months pregnant and I'm looking for a real man to satisfy. Like, I don't want to see that stuff. It's like, it's not even funny. It's just tragic. You realize there's a whole backstory to that, like, the more you learn about it, the sadder it is. Like, I can't do that either. I don't want to do any of this stuff. I don't know why, but God, the teachers are drawn to me like magnets on Tinder. It's probably because, Steph 4E21, it's probably because you look like a 13-year-old boy, and that's why the teachers are drawn to you. If you've been reading the news lately, the new Catholic priest-diddling school kids is technically female middle school teachers. So I don't know what to tell you. 6s and 7s middle school teachers are the current apex predators of barely post-pubescent boys. And it sounded way cooler as a kid. But now it's like, oh, lady, what are you doing? And it's always like they're married too, and the husband has to stand there. It's like, I stand beside her and the new teenage buck. It's like, what the fuck? Why? I was about to say kick. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I mean, I can't do anything about it. And my girl knows this too. Oh, I hate it. She comes to me. She's like, hey, every time one of these stories come up, hey, this is what's waiting for you out there without me. I'm like, shut up. So I guess sexually, we're kind of like in a Great Depression too. It's like, this is what's out there for you. And every time I see a crypto bro, I'm like, that's what's waiting for you out there. When the last picture on their Tinder profile is the mixed kid, well. Dude. You know, and this is going to make me sound, I might be unk on this one. But back in my day, if a chick was a single mom, they hid that shit from you until like a month in. Like it became like a thing. Like, let me meet your parents. Just so you know I have a kid. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, the difference is the Catholic Church has money so it can be appropriated. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of money in the teaching profession. I'm pretty sure that whole institution is a secular religion at this point. Don't they have rainbow flags and everything in the schools now? I don't know. But you see what I mean? Like, back to the very beginning of the show. That was the whole point. One day, man. Christmas. Just for one day. Take all of this shit aside. Forget about the Grinch. Forget about the gifts. Sit down. Have brisket. 150 degree, perfectly seasoned brisket with your family and ribs. Melt off the bone ribs. Just sit down with the family for one day. Pretend like Trump's not Hitler. Pretend like Hillary Clinton's not going to murder somebody for having the information. Pretend that Epstein killed himself for one day, and people just can't do it. I mean, you guys can because you're switched on, but the ones who can't, like even here, we were just like, nah, man, we're not doing this. Everything was happy. We're calling. I had to make so many calls to like old military buddies and friends and family and all that, and it was just like, it actually killed a few hours, which I was like, dude, it's actually kind of tiring. Because like I said, we visited everybody back in November anyway, so it wasn't as hard. But yeah, no money for teachers, just the admin. Fair. I'm just saying, no money for the priests, just the bishops. I mean, I don't want to shit on the Catholic priests anyway, because it's first off, it's a hack joke. But you know what I mean? Like, just put this aside for a day, go to mass. And it was nice. I saw a lot of people were like, you know what, I'm going to go to midnight mass, or for the Protestants, I'm just going to go to church after. It's usually, well, at least for the denomination of people that I knew, which is mostly Baptists, it's like after breakfast, and that's like around 11 or so that they had their church. Maybe it's different in the States. I don't know. And they do that, and then they come home, and yeah, everybody would watch movies. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to counter single Die Hard not being a Christmas movie because I'm not a prick. Let people enjoy things. Bad Santa, the Muppet Christmas. People were having fun. A lot of people were getting drunk. Jim and Brian, the drink a beer, play a game guys, they had this new stout that I'd never heard of before. It was like pecan and peanut butter or something. I was like, that's either awesome or disgusting. Like, no, man, it's awesome. I was like, fair enough. I think it's one of those things like, could you turn it off for a day? Like, as much as you want to be an anger phase guy, as much as you want to be this, much as you want to be that, if you had the choice, could you put it away for a day and just enjoy yourself? And I think that's a good litmus test for people. And I'm not talking fresh anger phase people. Those, you're going to go through what you go through. I get that. I'm talking about people who think they're past it. If you can't turn it off for a day, I don't think you're meant for happiness. I don't think you're meant for contentment. I don't think you're meant for joy at all. You need to be able to show, because Why More Please probably put it the best out of anybody I've ever seen when he said happiness is a choice. He's right. Happiness absolutely is a choice. You can choose to be happy in any situation. Now, I'm going to preface that with the big asterisk that if you choose to be happy all the time when there's real things going on, that becomes a level of like a coping strategy, which I'm not for, but because at some point you're going to have to deal with the shit anyway, especially if you have anxiety and that kind of situation, because anxiety is always environmental. I hate this whole theory of it being chemical imbalance. It's just like, no, your boss is yelling at you. You're stressed out. You're in debt up to your eyeballs. You're supposed to be stressed and have anxiety right now. There is a physical force in the world that's fucking with you, whether it's self-inflicted or not. So yeah, the anxiety is definitely well placed. And the best way to get out of that anxiety is not to take pills and talk about your feelings. It's to fix the environment around you that's all fucked up. Hence, navigate the world as it is, as opposed to bitching about it not changing the way you want it to be. It's the most red pill thing ever, you know? Yeah, if you're happy all the time. But it's a good experiment. Try it on those occasions. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm curmudgeon-y as the next guy. I'm probably one of the most curmudgeon-y guys ever. Most of the time when I got the smile on my face, it's because I'm just like, you gotta hide the pain. But like, yeah, if I can turn it off for a day, you can turn it off for a day. Always makes me laugh. Hey, speaking of which, hey, guess who turned out to be awesome all of a sudden?
I don't usually post pictures of my kids online, but they're infants and you can barely see them, so you know it's fine. But a YouTuber named Ryan Stone tweeted, showing off the F trophies for clout. So the babies are trophies that I'm showing off. It's perhaps not a surprise that a picture of a proud father would be so upsetting to the sort of man who clearly never had one.
That son of a bitch. That son of a bitch. Hey, Marty, because of you, Die Hard has become my Christmas tradition. Dude, I'm telling you though, man, it's worth it. I watched it again this year. And everybody always argues about it being the Christmas movie. It is a Christmas movie. Because I think people mistake the plot for the message. Every story has a message, like a subtle theme that everything is kind of geared towards. And Die Hard, I don't know if I've worded it right, but it's like getting over your mistakes is kind of like the moral message of Die Hard. Because right in the beginning, John and Lucy are fighting over why aren't you a stay-at-home wife? You know, you should have come to move with me. I'm doing a good job now. I'm a proud feminist. And at the end of that fight, when she leaves to go talk to the troops, even he's like, fuck, I'm an idiot. Why don't I just not be an asshole to my wife who's doing really well for herself? Maybe I should just be happy for her. Of course he has to kill a dozen European terrorists to get to that point. Same thing as Al Powell. He shot a kid. Can't draw his gun anymore. Can't be on the streets. Finally draws his gun at the end. He realizes, I can be a good cop. I can get past it. And that's like, it's a wonderful life with a 9mm Beretta, you know? Everybody gets past things. The bad guys don't. You know, killed my brother. I'm getting revenge. No, you're not. I'm going to steal all this money. No, you're not. I'm going to hack the system and get out of the way. Argyle, handle that guy. You got it, mate. Plus, there's like one of those few moments you don't see in there of like the true male camaraderie, because everybody thinks it's gay now, which is very annoying. And I'll just put this, I'll posit you to this. Think of the reaction at the end of the movie that John has running into his wife again versus when John runs into Sergeant Al Powell. Hey, honey. Coming to help you. Versus Al, he just starts crying and they hug. I'm like, God damn. Yeah, so I think it's a great movie. I think it really is a Christmas movie. I just think people can't look past the violence and think because it's a Christmas movie, you have to have like be set in a small Midwestern town. Yeah, the self-talk, I noticed that this year. Yeah. Oh, I'd imagine you would, to be fair. But I mean, let's face it, even professionally or personally, you're a completely different man than you were even a year ago, Covert. So is that any surprise? Probably not. Wife beater become my Christmas tradition because of Die Hard. I don't wear shoes because of Die Hard. And then Long Kiss Goodnight. Again, that's another one. I've realized how, like a lot of the old noir, Long Kiss Goodnight, even with the title, I should have kind of figured it out. It's like those old Private Dick movies. They put that in there. It's got its own little Christmas message of like a woman learning to love being a parent, shit like that. I don't know. It was just in the 80s and the 90s. Action movies figured out that we can be more than just a stupid action movie. And they really push the envelope on little stuff. And it's always subtle. And if you weren't that wary, you were looking at it. But it's so good. And now that we're 30 years later and everything is such slop, that I can appreciate it more than I used to. So. In that last movie, the Chinese guy Al Yong had the screen time extend because he naturally ate the candy bar while guarding the area. Oh, that's right. I forgot. That wasn't supposed to be in there, but he just had it, like he ad-libbed that and they put it in. Which is hilarious, by the way. Al Yong, he was like in every movie that came out of California for like 10 years. You might remember him from Big Trouble in Little China. Remember him from that. What else was he in? Pretty much any movie that had a Chinese guy. The fact that he was the one Chinese guy in the European Nakatomi Plaza thing was actually pretty funny too. But yeah, it's little things like that. I try to spread it as best I can, but I'm not. I'm just one guy. I don't really care. You're just here to be entertained. So, you know. But I feel bad. I don't know. The red pill thing. I'm hoping Rollo recovers from his surgery. I'm wishing him the best. I'll probably talk to him here when he's recovered and all that, but I really hope it doesn't go well. I hope he's joking about shaving his hair, though. I don't want to see him with a shaved head. I like him with his old 80s rocker hair, metal hair. So if he does lose it, I'm going to feel really bad. Maybe if they shave it and make him a wig out of it so he can wear the wig till it grows back, that would be nice too. But yes, I mean, hopefully he's still back and better and we can still talk about red pill stuff. We don't do them very often, but I like the collabs we've done over here over the years. Me and Rollo or me and Nick. I know everybody doesn't like the Nick one because it's politics, but I always enjoy talking with Nick. It's nice to hear the American perspective. I mean, he'd look fine. When I first met him, he had like a buzz cut pretty much, like a very, very short hair. He looked like a normal guy, but it's the internet now, man. It doesn't matter if you're talking about politics or whatever. You're more of a personality than a person. And so, what the hell is this? Fucking hell. Messy bullshit. you have to be a bit of a personality now. And without that 1980s Axl Rose vibe he's got going on, it's just not going to hit the same. He'll have to whole rebrand his persona. I wouldn't know what to do with like a buzz cut Rollo Tomasi. Maybe put a bandana on him, make him look like a biker. But like, I don't know if he's like the Undertaker. Is he able to go from the evil vampire Undertaker to American Badass Undertaker? I don't know. I hope so. I would hate to find out that like he loses the audience for that. Yeah. Well, and the thing I enjoyed the most about the Hawk one is because like he's obviously very American conservative, and I'm kind of very Canadian. I don't want to say agnostic, but it's kind of like just disenfranchised. It's like there is no savior. And we all kind of agree on the same things. And he made that one line about like the commie kids. Like, I don't agree with their solutions, but we kind of both agree on the same problems. It's kind of interesting to see. All we're really missing is like a collective narrative to get us around it. I've become very cognizant of narratives. And in the red pill things, we do it occasionally. Like, I don't talk about it often because it doesn't apply very often to most guys. They just need to work on, you know, covert contracts, deal with their game, deal with like not fucking up situations you don't have to, with unforced errors, picking fights you don't have to. A lot of like, don't be unattractive stuff. And the be attractive stuff is easy. Work out, look good, smell nice, cut your hair, whatever. But occasionally there's one where you have to put up like a set the narrative. And the link I always reply with it is this Substack article from Wine More Please that he took from his old Reddit post about a decade prior, talking while sometimes you need to. And he mentioned, yeah, for like the red pill, most guys talk too much and need to talk a lot fucking less and do a lot more. And he goes, well, when is a good time to talk? And he goes, well, after you've done work, quietly just gotten your shit done for X amount of time. Eventually your wife's or girlfriend or whoever is going to be very confused. Who is this new guy? Why is he changing? And people start to get a little anxious over that. Whenever you change, people always try to put you back where you are because it's just easier for them to process you as the archetype they have slotted you into. So when you change who you are, it changes how they perceive you, and they don't like it. And so that's the purpose of conversation. After you've done action for X amount of time, people notice the changes. They see it's permanent. They don't know how they fit in your life. They don't know how to compartmentalize. They don't know your motivations. It gives people anxiety. And so if you want people in your life, you got to let them know. It's like, no, this change is happening for this reason. Or I am now this guy because I refuse to be this guy. I've done it in the military. I remember, and I don't remember the exact way I worded it, but it was during like our main event where I'm leaving the military. I have been told what to do for like a decade and a half now. I'm going to be selfish and it's going to be fun and you're more than welcome to come on the trip. I'd love to have you. But like, yeah, not putting up with this bullshit anymore. It was something to that effect. And it was that ability to set the narrative, because we all think in stories, right? When you talk to a person, we don't think in stats and figures. That's why the people who throw charts and statistics and AI prompts at each other don't convince anybody of anything, because we don't think in numbers. We think in stories. And so you'll hear the story, you know, like a Batman origin story. For me, yeah, military, the espionage thing, the getting out, joining the red pill, finding it on this. This is all setting a narrative to make you understand who I am as a content creator, which is very closely aligned to who I am as a person, thank God, because I can imagine how hard it is if you're completely disassociated from who you are. Actually, I'm not even Christian. You're like, what the hell? You've been an evangelist for 10 years. Yeah, it's just a character. Like, fair enough. You kind of, like, it's good to have something close to who you are as a person, so then it's easier than having to lie about yourself. But that's all kind of influenced you guys on who I am. And the same thing for you guys. Marty, I know I have like an image in my head of Marty in sales because of what Marty and I have talked about, the way he jokes around, the way he has his Batman origin story, same as Jack, same as everybody. And we all build those. And the difference, I would argue, between the good ones, the red pill ones, and a lot of the bullshit you see from people that are faking it with kayfabe is in the red pill situation, the narrative comes after the work. And I think this is the big difference you're going to see. That's why Jack and Nuke and Marty and Covert and Dev and all the regulars you see in here and John, they're all different people because they kind of came here, worked on things, and then the narrative, the talk came after that. As opposed to somebody who just sits here talking about how awesome he is all day and then expects you to reinforce that. It's a narcissistic fantasy if you haven't caught that, but the thing coming in first. It's really worked well. I had a good laugh at the thoughts and turning on the TV live. I can bet. Do you want to know how much cooler you would be if you were guilty of espionage? Oh, I would be much more imprisoned, but probably also cooler. I do admit, though, I kind of regret not, and I know that sounds weird, but because there's so many foreign agents right now in Canada, it's kind of like that Dave Chappelle sketch of finding out, do you know what it's like to find out that everybody you know went to the Diddy parties except for you? It's like that. We have 11 foreign assets in Parliament right now. There's foreign assets in Service Ontario that are handing out fake driver's licenses. There's some in the cops, the feds. Every organization, every company, the Chinese are stealing corporate secrets from Bombardier and all this shit. And like, everybody's a spy now. And not a single person has asked me. I was like, man, no CEIA. Hey, do you want to work for us? Do you start talking about this? No APAC money. Nothing. And I'm like, fuck, man. You know how hard it is to sell out? Yeah. But it's weird too. So like, I know, Jack, here, for all the stuff you've been through, might as well have been true kind of thing. Maybe it would have made it worth it. Maybe. I don't know. It's weird. I think anybody here who's been through their red pill thing will get to a point, probably where I am, where it's so far detached that it doesn't even register anymore. Like that stuff at the time, I remember, because I still got the file up on my thing, and every now and then I open it up, how it was like the end of the world. And it really was. It was a shattering of your entire identity. The physical stuff, the sword of Damocles, all those nasty, anxious triggers were just thrown all at once. End of the world for me. But now it's like a decade now. I don't really think about it much at all. I definitely don't have an emotional reaction to it anymore. But I think that just comes with time anyway. It was the same. Like when my dad died, I was 17 at the time. It probably took me like 3 or 4 years till I could even talk about it and keep composure. But now it's just kind of like the thing that happened. I don't know. And it's one of those things where I think all the red pill guys will get there. And it's the final lesson I have for anybody from the red pill stuff, from all that I've seen and all that I've heard and all that I've experienced, was like, make an effort to remember. Like, 9/11, never forget. Not because of like, you got to hold on to that pain, keep it inside you, but it's kind of is. Because like, had I forgotten about all of that stuff, I could turn into like a lot of those brands that I see today that were very anger phase in 2017, who are now like, dudes, just walk up and like, they're all just very dismissive of everything. They forget how to draw the owl. You know the meme? How do you draw an owl? Well, put on some circles and then draw the rest of the fucking owl. It's like, well, there's clearly some steps in between, and all that pain and all the anger stuff, that was the in-between stuff. And so just keeping that in the back of your mind, not even to keep you angry, but just to remember, it's like, oh yeah, it's not easy until it is. And then once it's easy, it's easy. But for the guys who don't find it easy, insurmountably hard until you get from here to there. But then once you're here, it's easy, man. Just walk up and say hi. Just draw the fucking owl. So I think that's the one Christmas lesson I'll give you guys, is that when you're at the stage where it's just drawing the fucking owl, just never forget there was more to it than that. It took you a while to learn. Now, countries don't need spies anymore. You can just find out what you want to know about classified stuff on War Thunder forums. I can't believe how many guys are giving off like classified information on the War Thunder forums. And how the hell is the CIA and NSA and CSIS and all them and the Five Eyes community not watching the War Thunder forums like a hawk? If they're not, they are now. Actually, that's not a bad reference. Yeah, Doctor Who put it. Math is difficult until it's easy. Absolutely. Or it's impossible until it's obvious. I hope nobody in this chat is still like anger phase, brand new. How do I get the girls? Because like, dude, if you've been here for like the 5-6 years I've been doing this and you're still confused, like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if you've noticed this, but like my dry lectures on Glover and Smith and Claire and Rollo and Jack and all these guys, I haven't been doing them as strongly as before. I've done it all. It's all there. It's been there for years. I have seen, even from guys I know in the chat, I'm not going to name names, but a lot of you guys I recognize from the workshop, I have seen them switch from like the most cuck chair, submissive man, ball-busting wife on earth to like the complete opposite side, complete self-actualized man. They used to call it, was it Ian or no? Athol K used to call it something, not praxeological man, or maybe it was the praxeological man, something like that. Anyways, guy's got frame. He's got his shit together. Well, heck, even there's one, and I think Johnny doesn't mind me saying this one. Maybe I'll wait to give Johnny. Can I tell your story if you're still in chat? If not, I'll skip it. Yeah, it's difficult at first, but the difficulty is kind of the fun part too, right? And that's one of the problems guys have. It's difficult, but there's a lot of information from a fire hose that you can learn from. Like there's a dozen books. There's more stuff to learn red pill than in a college syllabus. There really is. And it may not be as rigorous. It may not have fancy jargon, but there is a lot to it. And for a lot of guys, that becomes the thrill, that there's always something new to learn. And they never want to move on. They always want to be a perpetual student. And that's the problem. Because then once you've gotten everything, we're going to end here in a minute. Once you've gotten everything, there's nowhere else to go. And so they start drifting into other things. Well, there's no more red pill stuff. And that's where you end up with those guys that read Evola and start talking about neo-fascism shit. Or that's where you get the guys talking about politics and the goddamn Democrats. And that's where you get the guys who all of a sudden talk about tantric, Middle Eastern, and like all that stupid shit. Ooh, that's actually a good way of putting it. Covert has it in a nice way. I'd say it's more rigorous because you have to shed your ego. Yeah. And, to be fair, it's such a simple statement when he's talking about shedding your ego. He's not lying. All of us had that's probably 90% of the work is just getting over your own ego. And it's not easy because guys are hell-bent. It's like getting a girl to accept accountability is like getting a guy to shed his ego. Because it's embarrassing. It stands against everything instinctively you know about being a man, you know? Shedding your ego, admitting you're wrong, admitting you don't know what you're doing. It's basically admitting that you're weak and unloved and like that kind of thing. That's emotionally how you process it. So to get past that, it's not easy, man. Well, no, not just spiritual. Spiritual guys are not shedding their ego at all. They are hiding their inability to shed their ego underneath spiritual mumbo jumbo. And that's not the same thing. Oh, I've shed my ego. Now I'm above this. I'm all that. No, you're not. Because you haven't addressed anything. You just act like you have. And I just can't stand that shit. And you can always tell it's extremely full of shit. They get very detached and disassociated. It's a complete cope. Anyway, so that's it on this one. It's like the post-Christmas one. For those of you that put it away for a day and acted like a normal family member during Christmas, kudos to you. For those who didn't, try again next year. Sucks about Jake Paul, sucks about Tate. They both got paid, so don't worry about it. It won't be the worst thing on earth. They did get in the ring, so good for them. Having said that, that broken jaw must fucking suck. Having to drink your Christmas turkey through a straw. I'll give you a quick update. Softbone 2, a.k.a. the goat, Jake Long and the Ghost of Odessa. It is just about finished. I've got the graphic design stuff and the desktop publishing stuff. The covers are done. The text layout for the book is done. I'm just waiting for the final edits. The last chapter is done. Everything is ready to go. I can't wait to put it out. And then we're going to start the Kickstarter up as soon as I get it all back. So probably first thing in the new year. And then we'll see. So my plans right now on that is if it reaches a certain threshold, it's just going to be the smallest threshold is going to be, I'll send everybody the ebook so they can put it on their Kindles, their Kobos, or read it on their thing or whatever. And then if it gets past that one, the paperbacks, you guys get the advanced copy. I won't release until after all this shit. And then if it reaches another threshold, maybe I'll do hardcovers, then another threshold. I'll maybe do it as a box set, throw it all together. And then another threshold will be, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, but it'll depend. So if people want it, then it'll make it there. If they don't want it, it doesn't make it there. I've got a couple artists that I've been talking to. I think I've mentioned them before, where I'll get them to do special edition covers that's just for these guys, and it won't be on the main one that releases later. Ryan Stone versus Sneeko boxing match. I'm not going to box anybody. I mean, I'm not going to say never if the money's good, and it'll be a nice excuse to get back into training, but it won't be boxing. I was trained in Taekwondo, and I got a black belt in Taekwondo, and I've done a lot of MMA, so I definitely wouldn't do boxing. I'm not a puncher. And yes, Praxeology Volume 4. I'm actually staring at the manuscript now. Since I've gotten the final manuscript back from Nick to now, there's some things about it I want to change. So I'm taking a slow roll on releasing it. Yeah, I'm not going to... I'll put it on Substack. I'm talking about some of the things I might want to change on it in the last minute before I release it here. So they'll be out here. But the point is, those should be out. They'll definitely be out in the next couple months. It shouldn't take that much work. And then that just means 2 more books. And I can have my goal of 4 books released next year. The next one I have planned is The Road Trip. It's kind of like a sort of a sequel to Dog Walker. And the next one is... It's based on a short story I had about... It's kind of like a political thing. Progressives versus traditional conservatives. Put on the planet of Mars. Wild West-ish space western. I don't have like a solid moral message for it yet. I just kind of have a bunch of ideas that I'm putting together, but that's way in the future. That's like 3 books down the line, so don't even worry about that. But that's going to be it for me. Enjoy it. Enjoy some time with your family. I think it's Nuke doing... What's it called? Nuke is doing... What the hell's the stupid show called again? Real Zero. And if I can get you guys down there... Yeah. The Year in Review. So go check it out. I think you guys will enjoy it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
And Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall because he...
79T 2458 Learning Corp. Little Red Riding Hood, take 1.